It is a very, very beautiful day, folks, inside and outside. And when I say outside, I mean outside. And when I say inside, I mean in my belly and my chest. Folks, we have finally got clarity on the situation regarding what is next in terms of the pay-per-view main events over the next 2 months. Now, obviously, we know Max Holloway and Dustin Poirier are going at it in July, and we were very curious who the International Fight Week main event would be. And we all had a few ideas, and now it's been confirmed. Ilia Topuria versus Charles the Bronx Oliveira is going down. Now, obviously, Islam Makhachev is, as of that night, will be stripped of the lightweight belt, and they'll be fighting for it. So, it's an interesting day. It's kind of sad, you know. Islam's been the champ for such a long time, and now he won't be anymore. It's just going to be a weird not having him as champ and potentially having two other superstars as champions. Now, ideally, Ilia Topuria goes out and wins because Islam has beaten Oliveira before, so it wouldn't feel as justified of a championship reign. However, I love Oliveira. I've actually met Oliveira. If you guys want to go to my Instagram, there's a photo of me and Charles out in Thailand together. I did a seminar. A phenomenal human being, very respectable guy, huge guy in person, big thick neck. So, with that being said, we've also got some news for August as well. Khamzat Chimaev returns to fight for the middleweight title against Dricus du Plessis, and that's a fantastic fight as well. So we've got such good pay-per-view main events to look out for over the next 4 months, which is fantastic. We've finally got a lineup, and I've already taken all the dates off work, so I'll be able to stay up, watch them, cover it, make videos for you guys, so I'm super excited about that. But anyway, let's break down Ilia Topuria versus Charles Oliveira. We've also got, by the way, Islam Makhachev and Jack Della Maddalena, but there's no date set for that one just yet. But we know that one's in the pipeline. That one is coming. That one is going to happen, I'd say in October. Or September in Sydney. We will see. In that case, we've got 5 months of fantastic UFC to look out for. The cards are slightly weak. However, as fans, we're very excited regardless for these big fights. You know, a lot's on the line in all these matchups. But breaking down Ilia Topuria and Charles Oliveira, I must admit, I think Ilia knocks him out. If his power translates over, which it might do, I think Ilia Topuria knocks him out or submits him. I think Ilia just finishes him. I don't think it's going to be an easy fight, but I must admit, Charles Oliveira, he does not move his head. He kind of just stiffens up and waits for the combination to be over, and he either gets knocked down or he doesn't, and he's done it his whole career. He's been knocked down in a lot of his fights recently. You know, he beat Beneil Dariush, he lost to Arman. The Beneil Dariush fight was fantastic, great, that was in Canada. The Arman fight was meh. The most recent Chandler performance was good, but before that, you know, he was getting dropped. He got dropped by Chandler, hurt by Poirier, dropped by Gaethje, dropped by Islam. And he has lost a lot. And he's lost to the top guys a lot. And Arman will be fucking kicking himself that he never got that Islam fight because it's completely fucked up everything at lightweight. And now Oliveira could become champ again when he's lost to a few people in the top 5. Ideally, what happens is Ilia Topuria goes out there and wins in July. Paddy Pimblett fights in August or September. And then they make that fight for the beginning of next year or the end of the year. Pimblett versus Ilia Topuria. Probably one of the top 10 biggest selling pay-per-views of recent time. I would say that fight would be. And fucking hell, can you imagine 3 years ago saying Paddy Pimblett would fight for a UFC world title? You just would think, like, how could that happen? But that could end up being a reality in the next 6 months. You have no idea what happens with this sport. You never know. Obviously, Paddy Pimblett won't be taking any short notice fights just due to his weight cut. However, it's very entertaining, very intriguing, and I can't wait to see what happens. But look, let me tell you this. Khamzat Chimaev and DDP. I love DDP. What a fight. Dricus du Plessis goes under the radar as one of my most favourite fighters ever. Just in terms of personality, fight style. He's always in a fun fight. He's an absolute savage. Some of the quotes he's come out with, everything the guy does, I think is just amusing. He's a really funny guy. The press conference with him and Chimaev is going to be fantastic. It's going to be entertaining. Maybe not the same fight feel as obviously Islam would be against Ilia. You know, obviously Charles and Ilia is not as big a fight. It's still an incredible fight. I think this fight also goes under the incredible fight bracket. Oh, that's a fucking incredible fight. But it's not a super fight, you know? It's another title defense. There's a lot of questions around Khamzat Chimaev. There's questions around will DDP be able to survive Chimaev. It's going to be just an entertaining competitive fight for the casual fans. Everyone will get behind this. The Muslims will get behind it. The South Africans will get behind it. The American public will be watching it because it'll be in America, in Chicago. So it's going to be, it brings in all corners of the earth, you know? It's a fantastic fight. It's going to be a great, great evening. And I'm very excited for it. I think Dricus du Plessis gets it done. I'm going to say by TKO. Realistically, Dricus throws, he wails in, and there's going to be a lot of clashes. And if Khamzat is tired, not able to get the takedowns, there'll be so many opportunities for Khamzat to take Dricus down. And if he can't get that, because there's so many opportunities, Khamzat's going to keep trying, keep getting more tired, keep wearing on him. I don't think he beats Dricus. I think Dricus actually kind of makes it look a little bit easy after the first round. He's so fucking good. Dricus du Plessis is so good. He's so talented. He's so big. He's so strong. He's got phenomenal kicks. His last fight against Sean Strickland really showed me that, and I'm very happy he's been a fucking phenomenal active champion. Obviously, I love activity when it comes to champions. I believe every champion should be fighting twice a year. This would be Dricus' second fight of the year. And I'm going to say Dricus beats Chimaev. And I know people are like, oh, but Chimaev smashes him, brother. I'm like, Chimaev almost lost to Usman and he almost lost to Gilbert Burns, you know. Smaller guys at welterweight. And yes, he was drained, but also coming up, he beat Robert Whittaker, but he got Robert Whittaker in that position, which a lot of people have done, and then Whittaker's teeth collapsed. You know, I think beating Robert Whittaker in the middleweight division in the past few years, 100%, if you beat Whittaker, you get a fucking title shot. And that's how it's worked, because Whittaker is that guy. He's fucking insane. However, I do think Chimaev's win over Whittaker was kind of the weakest, because he didn't really stop him, you know. Izzy stopped him, you know. Fucking Dricus stopped him. So, Chimaev stopped him, however. Not emphatic. It wasn't emphatic. It was very fragile. A very fragile stoppage. However, moving on again. I'm saying however all the time. I'm just hyped about these fights, to be honest, folks. We have Islam Makhachev facing Jack Della Maddalena. The date is to be confirmed. Realistically, it's going to happen. If JDM's healed up in a few weeks, it could happen like September, October. I think they're going to do Ankalaev versus Pereira in Abu Dhabi in October, which means September. Let's just do it. Let's run it. September main event. Obviously, JDM's just fought this month. Islam fought in January. It would be the second fight of the year for both guys. Super fight at welterweight. That's where Islam is realistically going to be staying from now, which is cool. I can't wait to see him in the welterweight division. I think if he wins the belt, he'll defend it once or twice, then retire as probably the GOAT of the sport. Like, if I'm being completely honest, he's insane. Like, he's so good. But does he get past Jack Della Maddalena? No. I don't think he does. He got booted around the cage by an aging Dustin Poirier. He really struggled with Poirier and potentially overlooked him slightly just due to what Khabib did to him. He went life and death with Poirier. You know, the Moicano fight was meh. Went life and death with a little tiny Volkanovski twice. Second time, obviously, we all know what happened in the second Volk fight. However, Craig Jones was obviously Volkanovski's wrestling coach. He seems to have a recipe for this Dagestani style of wrestling. This very weight management based sort of style of grappling that's perfect for MMA. I think Jack Della Maddalena is not, as we've seen against Bilal, he will throw punches when his back's against the cage. When he's going backwards, he will throw. Bam, bam, bam. Goes back, bam, bam, bam. And then when the takedown comes, okay, I'll defend it now. Like, that's how it works. Whereas a Leon Edwards would jab. Oh, he's backed me up. Don't throw anything here. That's kind of how I was looking at it. So I do think JDM potentially will get it done against Islam. I think he's big, 5'11", probably walks around 185, 190. Probably balloons up to 2. Islam's big as well. Islam's strong. We've seen Islam being chinned by a former featherweight. So I'm just saying. So obviously we can talk about Islam and how fucking great he is in the lightweight division, which he is a lightweight. But I must admit, I do think JDM gets this one done. Just at first glance, my few hours of thinking about this, I think Ilia gets it done. I think Dricus gets it done, and I think JDM gets it done, which is a pretty... I think the odds are relatively even for a lot of these fights, and Charles Oliveira, I believe, could get it done as well. Obviously, it's the same. It's 50-50 fights. I think some are 60-40, some are 50-50, but in terms of the landscape of each division, I think this is perfect. It's the right fights that need to happen. The middleweight division is smooth sailing at the moment because Dricus has been very active. Welterweight, the welterweights, as Ian Gary has said, you kind of do have to just step back and let Islam go up and fight for the title. But obviously, if anything goes wrong, I'd like to see a Sean Brady and Ian Gary fight in the meantime. Winner becomes the undeniable number one contender. But obviously, Shavkat's still in the mix, but Shavkat's aura's gone. I don't even think people are really talking about him at the moment, but it is what it is. And obviously, Ilia Topuria has the chance to go and destroy 3 fan favourites in a row and then retire, which would be the cruelest and most gutting and horrible reign of all time. Volkanovski, Holloway, then Oliveira. That would be criminal. Does he get through Oliveira? That's for you guys to let me know in the comments. No update on John Jones versus Aspinall. John Jones is a cunt. We don't want to see him in again. Let me know what you guys think, who you guys think is going to win, and thanks for watching. Subscribe.